It's time for our monthly update with mayors all around the Golden Horseshoe. And today it's Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath's turn. She joins us from home today, not able to drive in because you've got a cast on your arm. What happened?
I had a silly fall. I was rushing around on Friday, doing some errands in between meetings, and you should never rush around in the rain when you're juggling an umbrella and a purse and other things. And so, yeah, that's what happened, unfortunately.
Okay. But you're doing okay.
I'm okay. Lots of people have these kinds of things happen, so I just have to take it a little easy.
Okay. Let's get down to business then. Hamilton's homeless encampments. There are talks about having encampment precincts in or encampment areas in the within the city. How's that going?
Well, it's one of the solutions in a suite of options that the council is looking at. We had some protocols, a staff recommendation come to us around the middle of May, which I supported. I think that you really can't find a perfect solution. You have to start implementing solutions to this crisis. And so that staff report I thought made sense. Other councillors felt that they needed to do more consultation. So they're doing some more consultation with some of the ward councillors in their communities. That report then may or may not change, I don't know. And we'll hear back from staff again in August. But really, we have a crisis on our hands, and we're looking at what other jurisdictions are doing. We're looking at what fits best for Hamilton. And so all options are on the table as we deal with a deepening when worsening houselessness crisis.
Because, of course, if you're living out on the street, waiting until August isn't really an option.
It's really a humanitarian crisis, and I think that the council did the right thing by declaring an emergency when it comes to opioid addictions and mental health and homelessness. But if you're going to declare an emergency, you have to treat it like an emergency and start implementing some solutions. And as I said, there are deep-rooted causes for the kind of crisis that we're in. Everybody is in a similar crisis in terms of communities and municipalities. I was recently at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and that was their annual conference, and I heard from mayors from one end of this country to the other, small town, big city, rural, urban, suburban. There's a homelessness crisis across our country and frankly around the world.
The Salvation Army on York Boulevard has kind of been helping. They've been doing their part as well. They were part of the report that was released by the city last week of the entertainment plans in the area, and that plan apparently has plans for them to move. Did you know about that?
Well, I don't think that there's anything imminent at all that's happening there. I think when you take a kind of bird's eye view look at an entire precinct of a city and start, blue skying what might happen in the future, I would imagine. Of course, I wasn't part of any of these negotiations or discussions as the previous council penned the deal, more or less. But having said that, it's a blue sky kind of document. I would imagine that the idea was kind of stuck in there as another building that's in the precinct. But look, I think that organization does important work in our community. They support very vulnerable people, particularly men. I mean, it's a men's shelter, and you can't just simply say, off the top of your head that this may or may not, be a future use. If we had an ability to not need the shelter system at all, I think that's what everybody would like, but that's not the case. In fact, we need the shelter system more than ever, unfortunately.
You've got an update on the status of LRT, where things are moving there?
Well, the LRT was the subject of a Metrolinx presentation to the subcommittee not too long ago, and from what we're hearing from Metrolinx, everything is kind of ready to go. Everything's kind of moving along. The provincial government, in my discussions with the Minister of Transportation, Caroline Mulroney, have been very positive, and I'm looking forward to some things happening fairly soon. I guess the most important thing to note really on that file is that the government has changed its way of building these projects. Lord knows we don't want an Eglinton crosstown. I don't know if you're aware of that project, but boy, we don't want that here. And so they're in the midst of doing things a little bit differently, which I think is a positive thing. And looking forward to this project going much more smoothly than even some of the other ones like Ottawa, for example.
Lessons learned from other cities.
Yes, let's hope so.
Okay. I just want to quickly ask you too, Main Street and King Street conversions from one-way to two-way. When is that supposed to happen?
Well, the planning process is underway as we speak. It's something that is going to be required in terms of handling the construction phase of the LRT. It also makes some sense in terms of traffic and making sure that we have east and westbound thoroughfares. And I know that people are concerned about this, and I understand their concern. But we do have a number of corridors that run east and west, and it's a matter of people making different choices. And then, of course, once our LRT is up and running, that will take some, I believe, that will take some of the traffic off of the route that cuts across the city. So there's no doubt that these kinds of big changes cause disruption, and in some cases that's really problematic. But at the same time, the city needs to move forward, and we need to make the kinds of changes that help us to realize the next iteration of our city, if you will.
Okay. Mayor Andrea Horwath, we've run out of time, but thanks very much for joining us today. Take care of your arm.
Thank you, I will.